I feel recently the suffering is increasing in this modern society. And especially when I'm working with my clients, I also hear many different types of suffering. I myself also went through certain trauma and suffering. One of the things that happens when you go to a doctor or the psychologist or therapist, we of course go back to the situation and we talk about what happened. We go back to that emotion and feelings and what had happened. So we talk about it. Of course, we need to acknowledge and we need to understand what happened to us in order to get over it. But sometimes when we go back to the past, the story is not all the time the same. So sometimes when we talk about the problem or issues, then we experience, of course, our body, our mind, we experience the same sensation of what had happened. And sometimes, often after talking, we feel drained, energetically drained, and feel worse than before. But then we think this could be the healing process, and it is. But the memory of what happened does not go away. It stays there. So it is how to deal with this emotion, how to relate to this memory. For example, so I consider this as a kind of shadow. Everything in life, we have two aspects, like sun and moon, light and shadow, night and the morning, or daylight. So these traumatic experience serves as a shadow. And we have also very joyful, happy experience as well. And this is not about positive thinking or negative or positive thinking. It's just recognizing we have both sides of experience in our life. So, okay, let's talk about childhood trauma, which is older. Let's say when you are very young, like about 5 years old, and your parents are always busy and you really felt that you were left alone and didn't feel much loved and lack of love. And that also caused for example, being left alone at school or kindergarten and waiting if the parents would come. Or when you are young, maybe the parents got divorced and felt really abandoned. So these trauma we carry. And of course, this is something that we have to deal with, that kind of emotion. And we recognize that, but at the same time, we experience other beautiful memories. Even any time in life, we receive certain love. I'm a parent, and I don't think any parent would not love our child. So let's say in Japan, we have so many different seasonal festivals and also the celebrative festival. It's related to Shinto and to wish for prosperity, health, and peace for children. I talked about Momonoseku, which is Girls' Day, and Tango no Seku, which is Boys' Day, for example. So these events, we are bombarded with our love and compassion from our parents, family, relatives. It could be your birthday or any kind of event we have with full body, with our 5 senses. We have experienced something that we feel much loved. They would prepare, they would devote so much to make us feel great and loved and give peace, happiness. And for example, from the food we also use the symbolic flower or symbolic plants and symbolic foods. And whenever even when I smell these, then I reconstruct the love, happiness, and joy from that time. So then I can go back there and I can be in the light. So then when we have, for example, the traumatic events, we go into the shadow, which is also okay. But then at the same time, any of us has light aspect as well. The aspect that was filled with love and light. So we can shine, we can go back to that energy, we can reconstruct these emotions. So then there is shadow side, dark traumatic event that invade our current energy field, but also we can bring in the light. So the bringing up, going back to not only when we start feeling this suffering, which is related to kind of automatic pilots that was built in our system, we can also just disrupt this pattern by going back to the events and experience that brought so much joy and happiness, so that we will feel, we will replace, we will bring the light into the shadow. And how about our recent trauma? For example, in our adult life, we also go through many breakups and like heartbreaks or physical suffering from illness, accident, violence. So these recent kind of physical trauma we also sometimes go through, and it is painful, and it's sometimes comes back like even in a dream or as a flashback. So these ones, how can we deal with it? And often not only the shock gets better with time, but often we have so much anger. Probably the most emotion that we feel is anger. And this anger we experience, the energy of anger, and we try to kind of fight against, and we become victim, of course. So when we start analyzing our anger, why am I angry? Because of because of this, and against something. So there is also the object that we are angry at. And then we realize, okay, this is out of my control, the behavior of the object who we are angry at. So then we release, we detach. When we are still angry, we are involved in this field of energy of the object of anger. But when we recognize, okay, I cannot do anything about it, then we release, and this is how they are. So when we are able to detach from our own life, then the healing starts. And I'm going to show you. Okay. So I'm going to show you this. I have talked about this in my previous videos. Kintsugi. This is broken and it's painful. Even when I touch it, it's a bit painful. But so this is a trauma, what happened in your heart. Then the Japanese art of healing is to bring this together and dust with gold. So then this is the one after we healed the wounds. So when things are broken, when we have the pain, it is like broken ceramics. The first one I showed. And the more we talk about just broken object, nothing will happen. But then when we bring them together, recognizing it is just broken, and put them together and dust with gold, then the wounds start shining. So this process, this is just a metaphor, but also our own heart, we can bring the light into our shadow side. And often suffering and the pain when we are angry at something, then that's also, if something is broken, we get angry. Of course, we are shocked and we don't like when things are broken, and we don't want us to be broken, and we get angry and we try to find how can we blame, who is the one who I can blame. But then when we release that and when we start healing, bringing the light by ourselves, we empower ourselves and we can get over. That's the healing process. For the relationship trauma or breakup, heartbroken, I think we all some experience in certain time. And again, this is like in the literature and the poems, songs, there are so many of expression to express our sadness or anger after the romantic relationship. So this is it's existing, even from the Heian period. In Tale of Genji, if you read, there are so much suffering from their romantic relationship. So trauma from that is part of our life. However, how can we release it? And one of the things some of us might go through experiencing, if it's abusive, emotionally abusive relationship, we lose our self-confidence, self-worth, self-value. So that is really, in a way, dangerous. And when we start feeling I'm not good enough and I'm not lose confidence to do anything else, and that's the most that's when you are in that state. This is a time to rewrite our story with the other experience. We put the spotlight in other experience. That's, for example, from the same relationship, how you experienced love and how you have devoted and what bring you smile. There must be something that can bring you smile from the even painful relationship. So bring that, what you have done so well, and put light, bring the light into yourself. Then overwrite the shadow memory. Because when we think about the past now, it's never, we don't know, sometimes reconstruction of the story. So we have the power to rewrite our story. Our emotion, we create our emotion by ourselves and we can rewrite this emotion. So if it's normal way, probably go back to, well, maybe you have the childhood trauma from there and that's reflecting your current relation. It could be true, but at the same time, we want to feel happy now. We want to feel joyful. We don't want to suffer. Of course, reflection is important. Then we can grow, but we don't have to do this painful reflection for the entire life. We deserve the joyful moment. So let's say if you start feeling this sadness and work on yourself, you can set the alarm. Okay, 1 hour, and after that, do something else to please yourself and to go to the gym or do some activity to build your self-confidence again. So that would really help. So not only just internal work, but also bring our vibration up. So really important to bring our vibration up when we are suffering and when we move the body and it is very difficult to stop what we are thinking. But when we start doing other activities, it helps. Yes, meditation as well. Meditation will help as well. But if our mind is working during the meditation, it might be difficult to go into different energy field. So if you're really having difficulty and your mind is so occupied with full of pain, sadness, anger, physical activity, mushin, nothingness in your heart. So physical combining with the physical activities, and that would bring your vibration up. So we can work on ourselves, but make sure to bring our vibration up. And in Japanese, we say unki. Unki is the state of our energy flow, state of not only our energy flow, state of universal energy flow. So it's like getting on higher vibration. It's like getting on a train, which goes to have very joyful journey, or going through a tunnel, no view. So choose it is up to us to choose which train we get on and what kind of vibration that we would like to get on and what we want to attract. So focus on raising our vibration. And that's what we can also do to bring our heart-warming memory back. If you like to have one-on-one session, there is information and the link below. And thank you for watching and see you next time.